I used to try and remember all the weekly tasks that I had in my head, and it was stressful. I was worried that I was going to forget an important task, like a client task or a marketing task or something like that. So then I moved to paper to-do lists, and they were scattered all over the place. My desk used to be full of all the things I had to do for that week, and it was confusing and overwhelming. And that kind of made me research into a better way for how I can schedule my week and where I can host something so that no matter where I am, I can have a quick sort of snapshot of what's coming up in the week. So in 2019, I moved over to testing out Google Calendar, and I have not looked back to this day. It is still a huge part of my scheduling routine. I love using Google Calendar, and the best part is at any moment I can look on my phone or my computer and know exactly what's coming up in my week, so that I A, don't miss anything, and B, can see what maybe needs to be rescheduled if I'm not able to work a certain day. So in this video, I'm going to dive into a behind the scenes look at exactly how I use Google Calendar. I'm going to show you how I set it up and what my schedule looks like in a week-to-week basis. But before we dive in, if we have never met, hello, my name is Hannah. I am a business strategist for service providers, helping you to sell, streamline, and scale your services. So if that sounds like something that would resonate with you, definitely hit that subscribe button so that you never miss a new YouTube video every single week. Alright, so before we dive into behind the scenes of me showing Google Calendar and how I set it up, I just want to let you know that if you don't already have a schedule, like if you don't know the basics of what your schedule looks like and making it effective, Google Calendar won't solve that. So the first thing is you actually need to design a schedule of what you want to put in your schedule. Because once you know that, then Google Calendar will be much easier. So if you have not created a schedule yet, I did a recent video on 4 things every service provider needs to have in their schedule. And I go through different buckets of things that should be in your schedule. So go and watch that video if you haven't already, because then as I go into this tutorial, it will make a lot more sense as to what to put in your schedule and creating one that actually reflects your personality and your priorities, not just copying and pasting my calendar, because what works for you may not necessarily work for me and vice versa. But let's dive into step number 2, which is actually setting up Google Calendar. Alright, so let's dive in behind the scenes of Google Calendar, how I use it, and we're just going to go through the different steps. So the first thing you'll want to do is on the left hand side here, you'll want to make sure that you have a My Calendar with your name or your business name, right? And I call mine Hannah Murphy Batch Days. That's kind of like my overarching main calendar. Now, some people and some of my clients even like to do their batch days. As I said, if you're not sure what your batch days are or what that looks like, definitely have a look at that previous video I did on 4 types of tasks that should be on your schedule. But kind of looking at this, I do mine all in one calendar, but I know others, like you can create separate calendars per like type of task in your business. So up to you how you want to set it up, but personally I just like having all of mine on the one calendar for a variety of different reasons. But when it's a calendar type, you can come in and add a custom color, and you can put your, brand color in there so it feels more branded to you if you want. So that's kind of the first step, is you'll want to make sure you've got that calendar. Then what you'll want to do is set up your batch days or your types of tasks. So as you can see here, I have like offerings, that's my client work days. I then have sales and marketing tasks. I then have project tasks, and then operations tasks. So the way you create it is you'll just click in the day and you'll title it batch and then like the type of task here, right? Then you'll come into more options and you'll add the settings for this batch day. So the first thing is you'll want to repeat it weekly on whatever day you're going to do that batch day. Then you can come and change the color. I like to do a different color per style of type of batch day. then hit save. From there, as you can see, it will then recur and repeat all of those tasks. Then what I do is I come in and edit the task in the description section to actually detail out what I'm doing in that. So let's say it's marketing, right? You could put, Instagram. Wow, can't even spell Instagram. Instagram, and then you can put like underneath that the types of Instagram tasks that you do. So you can sort of detail it out in there. The whole point of this is so that you're not like repeating every day. You've got it there as a holistic view. This is what I do generally each Monday for my marketing task, or this is what I do each day for my client work tasks, etc. Right? So as you can see here, like with sales and marketing, like I've then mapped out all of those things. So YouTube, obviously I'm on YouTube, right? So I'm putting what I'm doing for that, and then Instagram, and then my email list, and then collaborations. So I've detailed it out in depth under each one. So that's the first thing you want to do, is create almost like your template to work off each week, because generally it should stay pretty similar. And then each week, if there's a massive change in your schedule, obviously you can adapt that. But then what I like to do is come in and add or tweak certain things based on a day. So for example, let's say on the 16th, for my project batching, I want to redo my website. Random one, but as you can see, I would then do that and save that just for this event, so that I know, okay, on the 16th, I've got that project. So it's all categorized within type, but then in the description is more detail in terms of what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and that kind of thing. So to recap, you'll basically create the batch day task, you'll set it to recurring, you'll add a color for it, and then you'll add the details of that description of the type of task within that. From there, now I just want to kind of give you some extra sort of productivity tips around how I use it. So the first thing is I connect it with different apps. So for example, I use Acuity to book meetings. So for example, this was a client call and they booked through Acuity, and then Acuity then connected with my Google Calendar for it to show up in here, so that I'm not manually adding things into Google Calendar, but I can see at a rough glance when my calls are for the different weeks. So that's the first thing, is add it into as many different places as possible, including your phone, because having it in your phone is also very helpful. If you are out or whatever, you can access it and see what you have coming up each week. If someone asks to go out with you or whatever, you can then say, oh, I can't do that, or you can move something around. So that moves me on to the next thing, is what now do you do if you're sick or you can't do it for one day? Well, for example, on Wednesday the 10th, usually I would be working on sales and marketing, right? But I wasn't able to, I was out for most of this day. So what I did was I rescheduled that to Friday, so that I had that white space in there to be able to reschedule it. So all you've got to do to reschedule it is you just move it like this, kind of click and drag, and then it says, do you want to edit it for this event or following events? Well, it's just that one-off day that I'm not able to do it, so I reschedule it to then, so that then I'm able to see, okay, this is what it looks like. From there, this is the kind of, as I said, overarching like template version. Then what I do is each either Friday afternoon or Monday morning, or just whenever I'm starting the week or ending the week, I will then come in and kind of write out based on this into a paper version of my week ahead. Just because I like to have paper, like more descriptive, detailed of paper version. But I always start with this Google Calendar, because I know that's where everything is from meetings I've booked to batch days I've created to specific tasks I need to do. They're all within Google Calendar. So it takes my mind off having to remember everything I need to do and instead just focus on making sure that this is kept updated so that I don't miss tasks. I'm not relying on my memory to finish my to-do list. I'm relying on Google Calendar to present me what I need to get done and when. So highly recommend using Google Calendar. It has saved me a lot, but the biggest takeaway from this is make sure that you just have some form of system that gives your schedule a home. And if you don't have a schedule, definitely go and check out that video I mentioned previously. So that is a behind the scenes look at my Google Calendar. If you want a more detailed plan for how you can create a schedule that reflects your personality and prioritizes both profit and productivity, I have a membership called the Accountability Club, and it helps service providers to sell, streamline, and scale their services. So we will be doing a relaunch very soon. You can join the waitlist with henryandco.com/waitlist. Get on the waitlist so that you can be the first to know when we relaunch this membership that will provide you with the content, coaching, and community that you need to not only create a great schedule, but also a great business that reflects profit, that reflects productivity as well. So I cannot wait to join you in that membership if it sounds like something that is a good fit for you. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes look at my schedule. I cannot wait to hear how you set up your schedule in Google Calendar as well.